I only have one semester of college left. For those of you guys that don't know, my name is Tiffany. I'm a senior at Northeastern University and I study accounting and management information systems. This is going to be my last semester, so I think I've basically nailed down how to organize my life and prepare for new classes and everything coming up. In case you're a freshman or you're looking for some type of organizational system, I hope this helps you. Just a brief rundown, I'm gonna go through how I set up my Google Calendar, how I set up my files for my computer, and then this year I think I'm gonna try using Notion a little bit more. So I kind of just found this productivity app called Notion. I made a video about it to show you guys my setup, but I think I'm gonna do a little bit of an update and add some of my classes into my Notion. I think I'm only gonna use Notion for really big assignments and just showing myself a preview, a calendar of the upcoming semester. And I'm not really gonna do like note taking or anything. I just want to be able to see all of the work I'm gonna have to do at a glance. Let's get started. The first thing I'm gonna start with is my Google Calendar. So I already set up my Google Calendar just to save some time, but basically this is what it looks like. I color coordinate the classes, so that way I just stay organized and that way I know when I take a look at my calendar really quick, I can figure out what classes are on what day. I'm like excessive and I will color coordinate this sometimes to the color of like my folders. Since this semester everything is like online, I don't really use a lot of printed papers and like materials, so that's not as useful, but still color coordinating my classes helps me figure things out when I look at my calendar at a glance. So when you click on the individual events, this is what it looks like inside. I just have a setting to remind myself to get a notification 30 minutes before class starts so I'm not late. And then also I have it set to reoccur on specific days. That's like a really quick Google Calendar hack. Instead of making an event for every single day or making them for all the Mondays, all the Wednesdays, and the Thursdays, which is when this class is, you can set this to reoccur on specific days of the week and every week until a certain day. So since I have this class Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have it set to repeat on those days at the exact same time and it ends on the last day of the semester. That is just how I do it to save time, so I only have to set up each class once. So Northeastern also recently switched from Gmail to Outlook, so I could have set this up also in my Outlook calendar, but I'm really used to adding everything to my gcal, so I kind of just left it in here. But I also found out that those two applications can't really talk to each other in terms of putting events simultaneously in both applications. Just something to keep in mind if your school also uses both. You would probably have to pick one, and whichever one is easier for you to manage and one you're more comfortable with. Now I'm gonna jump into how I set up my computer files. So basically this is my file organization right now. I have found that it works really well for me over the past 4 years, but obviously, you know, do what you would like with yours. The way I have mine set up is just to have it with first, second, third, or fourth year of college. At Northeastern, we don't really typically call people like sophomore, junior, seniors. I mean, freshmen are freshmen everywhere, I think. But it's my 4th year. Fall 2020 was last semester, so I'm just gonna make a new folder for spring 2021. And in here, I put a folder for each of my classes. So now I've set up a folder for each class under spring 2021. I just have it with like the course name and number and the title just so that I don't really get confused. The first thing I usually do is just like add my syllabi into each of the folders so I know what I'm working with. And then yeah, I typically use like a very similar naming convention so that none of my files get really mixed up. So I can just show you what I did for last semester because obviously that has all its files already done and completed. I just pulled the management consulting folder out of my fall 2020 folder to show you guys how it looks inside. Basically, I just try to use a very similar naming convention so I know what each of the files is actually for. For all of the readings of these chapters, I have something like chapter 1 notes, which will be all of the notes I took in class for that chapter, but chapter 1 outline will be what I took notes on from the textbook. Totally up to you. It's a personal choice. It's whatever is going to make it easier for you to figure out what these files are actually for. But this has just worked really well for me. And then this class didn't have any interim exams throughout the semester, but basically in other classes where I do have midterms, I would take all the chapters that go with that midterm and put it into that folder. So once the exam is over and done with, it kind of looks like a clean slate and there's just like embedded folders. For example, say in tax, I had all these notes and whatever, and now I have an exam. I would put all my study materials for exam 1, all the files that would be here, into this folder so that when I'm done with that exam, basically my folder would look empty like this and it would look like a blank slate. For me, that just keeps it a lot more organized. And I know next time for the next exam, what chapter I'm starting on, unless of course it's cumulative, then you have to keep that in mind. But it's a lot easier for me to focus on which chapters, and it's not as overwhelming as trying to sort through everything. It's a very simple setup that I use. I mean, you could embed folders for homework, for quizzes, for study materials, etc. I try not to collect any excess files and stuff if I don't need them. So for me, this folder convention and very simple setup has worked really well throughout the past 4 years. But basically, yeah, I'm just gonna pull down my syllabi now and throw them into each of these folders. But yeah, I can just do that off camera because obviously you don't need to watch me go through Canvas and stuff. I'm sure you know how it works if your school also uses that app. But basically, this is my setup as of right now for spring 2021 in my classes. Obviously, this is going to get way more crowded as I get more files and more readings and assignments, etc. I try to just take it week by week. I don't want to download everything all at once, even if it's all on Canvas and available, just because that would overwhelm me. I'll get confused as to what I need to focus on at that point in time. So I just try to keep it current and not look too far ahead in terms of downloading stuff. Okay, so moving on to my Notion. I am honestly pretty new at Notion, so I haven't used it before for my classes or anything like that. So this is definitely going to be new to me, but I think that I'm just going to add something here and create a new page and just title it probably just spring. I'm gonna add a table real quick and probably title it like assignments and start making some properties. So I want to label it for what the assignment is going to be, what class it's for, and I'll do this probably as a select, like a single select. I'm gonna do a due date and have that in a calendar. And then if I actually completed it, that's probably good. There's nothing in the table right now, but I'm just going to sort it so that anything that is completed goes to the bottom of the list. So that way, when I first open this page, I see automatically what is at the top and what is due. And that's why I'm going to have it assigned by due dates ascending. So this will make sure that all the completed assignments go to the bottom. It will sort them in the order of the due dates so that the ones that are closest in the future will show up at the top, and it'll sort them together by class. So if multiple assignments are due in the same day of class, it'll put them together. I am going to add also another view on this, and I'm gonna have them sorted by class, because I also tend to look at my assignments just based on what is due in class for that day. Again, if it's completed, it'll go to the bottom, and then if it is by class together, and then by due date. So in this view, I basically just switched these two so that it's by class and the other one is by due date. The other view I'm going to add in here is a calendar. I am definitely going to want to see a calendar view when everything is due, and I think it automatically will sort it by due date. Calendar by due date, yes. So real quick, off camera, obviously, because you don't have to like see me fill in all of my stuff, I'm going to add all the assignments I can right now from my syllabus and just label it with these properties, and I'll show you how the sorting works after I do that. That took a lot longer than I expected it to, but now I have all of my assignments in Notion. So this is what it looks like. So now all of my assignments are put into Notion. I added a different property here for the type of assignment that it is. Okay, I just have it classified here for reading or homework, project or paper, and then quiz or exam. Those categories are very similar, so I just made the colors the same. Right now, I feel like my tax class is probably a bad example because a lot of the homeworks don't have due dates yet, and he said that he would give that to us throughout the semester. But if I just scroll down to religions, this is probably the class with the most information and the most organization from the syllabus that I had. You can just see that it's sorted right now by due dates, so I have a bunch of readings and things due for these specific dates and classes. But I am pretty happy with this, just having it all laid out. The calendar view is super helpful just for seeing my week or something like that. I just skipped forward to April here to look at when my finals and everything would be and what the overlap of my actual projects would be. But you can just see like I have all these readings due on Monday. I could probably show properties here, like what class it's for. Yeah, that's probably helpful. Obviously things are gonna change as the syllabus changes. It's pretty easy to just open the file, but I think it might be nice to just have all of my syllabi together in this area. Oh, and then also if you're wondering like, Tiff, where is that last class that you're taking? So this class, actually my professor has not put it up on Canvas yet, so I don't have like any information on this class. I guess I'm just going to have to figure that out as it comes. I don't think I'm doing this too early. It is Saturday and classes start on Tuesday. I just moved all of these titles to the top of the page. So now at the top, I just have all of my syllabi here. I'm just leaving my strategy one as a title for a placeholder right now, but I think this will make it very easy if I have to go in and just look up and cross-reference something here. Sometimes there are more minor things I have to do that I don't necessarily think would belong in this assignments page. I'm going to insert another table above the assignments one and just make this more of a to-do list. I know that I also have a to-do list on my Life Hub like homepage. If you watched my Notion video, you probably saw that. I think I'm gonna use this one more for just class assignments. The other one was kind of just for things in my daily life, and I think it's probably better just to keep those things a little bit separate so that they're organized in my own head. So I have task, what class it'll be for, and any notes I have about that. So these are just gonna be very small things. Like right off the bat, I know I have to find a bunch of textbooks and download some stuff for these classes to prepare for Tuesday. So I'm just gonna write down like the things I have to do now, but they wouldn't necessarily belong in the assignments table, so I'm going to put them in this one. Sorry, my computer sounds like it's about to take off. So this is just the little to-do table I created real quick, and I set the date here to be relative. I just think this is a really good way for me to stay organized, and if I need to reference anything, I have everything linked up there. The main thing I have to do now is just find textbooks and get my class pack. I think that's mainly it. I'm really happy with this setup on Notion. I know other people do more extensive ones, but I think this is the bare minimum that I need to keep myself organized. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. And if you're starting your next semester in college or high school or whatever, good luck, and I'm sure you'll do great. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.